Hello and welcome. It is the 25th day of May 2019. My name is Derek. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Let's take a look first at Bitcoin Cash against the US Tether on the Binance exchange. And it's not at all-time highs, but it's all at all Binance highs in that it opened this exchange in the middle of November 2018 and it has exceeded what the price was and has followed from that point. Of course, it followed through going down from 350 down to about 73, now over 400 in at 408. On the daily term time frame, low volatility, like not like there's any news or anything much going on, and there is, but the price isn't reflecting such, at least not for yesterday's session, as it hung in there showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs, and on the 4 hour just hanging in there. I'm not going to say showing strength with the highs because it's more of a neutral and it's hanging in on the lower end, but it's more stronger doing that than hanging in with the lows. And Bitcoin Cash has suffered a 51% attack from two miners. And this happened almost 24 hours ago. As I found out this morning, I was hearing stuff, and well, I typed in 50 BCH 51% attack 15 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 13 hours ago. So this happened last night, dinner time, maybe 6, 7, 8 o'clock or something. Among that nature, and looking at 1900 hours yesterday, it just kept doing it. This confuses me. I think something like this, you'd see a decent sized decline, maybe not a major crash or anything, but maybe a move back down to these previous lows, or even a retracement to Fibonacci support or 61.8 in the 380s, but didn't do it. If anyone knows more than me about this, about what this means, and uh, I have no problem selling one asset class for another at any given time if the situation is to justify the situation. But right now, the market is not showing any responding. So this really confuses. This majorly confuses me. And if anyone knows more, I look forward to hearing it. But because that's all I really know, and market's not really doing much, let's move on to Bitcoin. And my instincts last week at this time, as we were ending last week, was thinking, yeah, it's probably going to be a pause week. And that's why I remember saying maybe it's going to be a pause week. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I was going to come out and say that's going to be my prediction. It's not a fun one, but well, with, what day is it, Saturday? 35 hours to go until the end of the week. And Howard say the daily chart showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs for the second consecutive. This is the second consecutive day doing it, after falling a bit below to the unseen 18 of closes, which is basically in the middle for the most part of these two, and then just hanging in there. Within the hourly term time frame, this is a situation where we've had all of this resistance lately. That's a key word, lately, at where we stand right now, a hair above 81. And when we look at this, even this hour itself, how much time? 3 minutes left. It's pretty much done. 8:56 a.m. as I'm doing this. Two good candles up from like 2, 3 in the morning after attempting to revert this trend. You can see band flattening out, establishing support. Come back to the band. The attempt to do number three, which is, or break number four rather, the attempt for it to break established support didn't do it, and thus now we're seeing okay, it looks like a resumption of the bull market, and at 8100, need even more so, even more importantly for the breakout purposes, 81 height change, but it looks like it's poised and ready to move forward. And why I said 8100 just for the early time is because when we go back to the daily chart, I've been talking about the symmetricalness of just a little bit of a downtrend here and matching highs. Well, it still has yet to come up to 82 to 83 level, which is a bigger area. But that's just a short-term number, like 200 points, even 170 on 81 is only a 2 to 3% move. And breaking this level of resistance, that's when I'm looking at this size green candle, this size green candle, or a series of like 3 or 4 in a row that are just spectacular. That's the type of normality I would think on a break of that, and because of course the Fibonacci, as I've been talking about, and its great track record, I most certainly have a price objective for this move to go somewhere near 10,000. Litecoin is basically the exact same camp on the weekly chart. A little bit different as it's just barely broken this level of resistance. It's holding and staying in the 100s area, and I'm looking for this to have this pierce above the 126 number. Whether it happens anytime soon, 5 days, 10 days, I and then breaking above that, we're looking at going to 200 as a in between level from 126 and that of near 400. On any pullbacks, well, if it happens, well, I'm not going to talk much about it, but it's all the same. Higher or low 18 when you have a well extended move from the 18, which it has had. That's when you want to either lengthen it out, which would be the monthly chart, actually the daily chart. No, the monthly chart. Where if there's any pullbacks here, I'd be looking for like 53. But it looks on the monthly here like it's comes up to it, grinding its way to the highs. It had a little bit of a pullback last month from such. 18 average of highs last month was 92.76. This it's 90. So the low 90s, this major level of resistance. So when we take a look at this again on the daily chart, here's that low 90s hit where it came from the 18 average of highs, pulled back down of the daily of the weekly rather, and now it's breaking that resistance level. So getting above this tells me that on the weekly term time frame, rather than the monthly, excuse me, that on the monthly term time frame we're looking for resumption of trend. Band 1 for the reversal of trend, flatten out, which it did it here. Stage 2, establish support. Stage 3, come back to the band. That's where we are, and it's not even close to attempting stage 4 because it's not even pulling back. And clear moves above this, yeah, resumption of trend. That's why 126 is that little next key level to get above short term. And these levels, when you look at it long term, that doesn't look like much of a leg higher. That of, and let me see, how do I do this? Yeah, this is how I want to do it. Come on, mouse, stop that. Oh, it's just, anyway, we got it done here. So on this situation here, getting above here, I look at this, I'm like, you know what, that's not much of a move to get there. Even to pierce above it like 142 is like, yeah, whatever. And then you get here, uh, you have a good move. I wouldn't be surprised, and I kind of hope, and I don't hope at the same time this happens, at least if it does happen, what I'm hoping is that it could have a very fast move just a previous high at 300. And we could be talking about a span of like 2 to 3 of these things, or before the football season of the NFL this year even begins. And in such an event like that, or when the kids go back to school in September, it's September, like a few months. So I'd be probably selling very aggressively here, really hoping for a pullback, but definitely things to keep in mind. I mean, this has got the potential for the failed breakdown. I mean, as it comes down to this right now, it's done enough most certainly for the 18 to flatten and an attempt. And it's extremely early in it because it's really got to get above 126. And an attempt to resume the bull market. Against Bitcoin, the LTC is next. And it most certainly too has a possibility of a failed breakdown forming here, at least via Fibonacci. And even the 18, I suppose, but the reason why is you got this up run, and the 18 is tremendous support. But you notice what doesn't happen here. If you don't find support here, I'm expecting a fast move to this level. Okay, no, it didn't happen. It didn't even come close to that level, halfway through. Okay, well now the bottom line is if it comes and resists this and pulls back, well that's not an uncommon. In fact, it's a relatively common situation. Is a break of fib, a small breakdown in between where you're supposed to go to, come back to previous support, which would then be resistance, and off you go to next level, which is zero point zero 0.01. I'm not throwing that out, but and the situation here within this fib, and we're going to shorten this out on the shorter term, the daily and like the 4 hour and such. That if you have a spot where you go below fib and you can box this again within this line, and you're able to quickly get up to the 18 average of highs in this case, I would be stating. And if you're able to get there, well, maybe it can go up fast after that, or even if it just holds within the 18 for about 3 or 4 periods, 5 periods, if you're looking for a break above that, that's an extremely strong sign. So if you're looking for like just how to write in textbook, I see a situation where you have some sort of non-major downtrend flowing in, which is most certainly the case here, and you have a good rally. You come to an area of major support, and then you have the small break below it, but then you come back to that level into congestion for a little bit where it meets up with the 18 average of highs like this, and then you start to see how it's starting to break out, or if you see it breaking out, coming back to the 18 and then lifting off again. Those are just, I think, more supreme, strong setups, because if I see something like that, I'll be saying in future videos, yep, after this failed breakdown here of the 18, it had its huge move. And where would a huge move be here on the weekly? Well, I'd have to think. You know what? Not really this. I'd have to say at minimum previous high here in the 230 area from 2018 would be like a small ballpark area. There's been some higher levels here because after that you got this congestion level at 26, 27, and after that it's uncharted new territory. On the daily term, and examining more amongst this Fibonacci level, it has been monstrously huge as far as support and resistance is concerned, supporting it multiple times. Now it's resisting it multiple times. We have a double bottom in play. That's two U's, two V's type shape formation. This is more of a, I don't know what you want to call it, a pair of insert noun. And when you break that neckline, and it's close to what tried to yesterday, it's in that area. I'm looking for a move for a significant gain. In my next area, probably about a 61.8% from this low to this high. Probably an area around the 15 handle as a breakout level if it's going to manage to get above that line. Now that it's came up to here, to say that it's important for it to hold the higher low is big time. Last time it didn't, but it kind of did, and I say that because you have this high in here. Okay, let me see it hold and stay above 11.6 area. Oh, it came back and had a match. The reason why is because most of the time when you don't hold this and you do go to matching lows, at best you're just going to come back to like 118 and break down. So that's why it's just unlikely you're going to create that double bottom, but you did. Okay, so now that you did, that's a nice setup. 18 average of lows is here at the 15. I'd like to see it start rising. Maybe if it's not going to go up yet, spend a few periods where at least early on, short term, or the next or into Monday or so, it can hold and stay above the 121, 120 area. And then that would be enough for the 18 average of lows to start to rise precipitously. I don't know how, I can't pronounce that word well. But that's enough. If it's going to come back, I'd like to see it come back in here. But breaking above this, yeah, again, a magnificent play. I made one trade this morning on my ratio. Only one was available to me. I was looking at it last night. I wanted to get a better deal. I didn't get much of a better deal because, well, last night what was happening, you can see it was breaking above this level. And I was like, oh man, come on, Litecoin, break, 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 break. It never did. And at the same time, I was looking at the altcoin of Go. And I'm like, well, maybe it might fall a bit, which it did. As it was, again, last night in here, it was at the 300 area number. So I woke up with 285. That's what I got. So therefore, I've made two trades since entering into this position at around 260 something. I ended up selling at 333. I bought Litecoin. And then I bought at 285 after selling Litecoin. So I made a little bit of Litecoin, a little more Litecoin than GoChain, and a little bit of GoChain as well along the way. I'm presuming these were Fibonacci numbers that I probably put in. That makes sense for me to do it. That looks like the area of point A to point B. And it just happens to be you come to this area to the first level work, yeah. Because it found a little bit of support, but if you find little to no support here, expect a fast move to the next level. It comes back down, has a decent move the halfway through. Didn't have the comeback to, or a price correction rather, because a price correction probably would have came back into here, maybe piercing above into 310. Rather just stayed sideways in that 300, and then comes right down, and of course right down to this line, and it's a pause period last hour, and just opening up a new one 8 minutes in. So yeah, so far it's already been a little bit of support, and if this area is not support, well, resistance is now 308, and if this is areas in support, I'd be looking for the areas of about 260 down to about 252. Next up, Komodo, and I'm just showing it because I haven't shown it in quite some time. It's been in a downtrend, of course, and for me, I'm just trading this against Litecoin, and if Litecoin goes up and this goes sideways or down, it's most certainly going to easily be that of another trade. I've been trading a lot of the Theta and Theta fuel tokens. Let's first quickly look at Theta, though. And it's in an interesting situation after the amazing gain in the end of the winter. And the band's flattened it. No, an attempt to establish resistance. If you want to count that, I kind of should. Because this was a low lay mass attempt, and even this isn't that high, but it's close enough. And it followed through after this move and a successful correction. So I like how we see how this is flattening out now, trying to do the escape of it, trying to do what bull markets do, and that stay above the 18 highs and above the 18 lows of support. So above the 18 highs is resistance, and at the 18 lows of support, basically. And we can see here that stayed basically below it. There's resistance. A little bit of resistance in here, and in this case, pretty much primarily the 18 average of lows, and a pierce below was resistance. In fact, the last time it even touched the 18 after lows after leaving it on April 21st, it looks like it was either this or the next period on May 13th in its attempt, and its successful attempt to flatten out the band. 4 hour term time frame, this amazing rally, or what for the four, it was a noticeable one, quick, but I like how it's came back and starting to break through. That's a very good setup right now, I think, moving forward. This was obviously, I think, on news of the Theta Fuel being listed on the Binance exchange. You need Theta Fuel to transfer or to pay for Theta transactions on the blockchain. And what's interesting is both your Theta Fuel and your Theta token deposit address, whether it be on the wallet that I use for my private keys or on Binance, they are both the exact same. So if you send T Fuel to this address or Theta to that address, exact same one, it will arrive as normal, and it's just a quick move. Doesn't take long at all. On the single hour term time frame for Theta, here's the big move. It had a little bit, just a little bit of a quick rally attempt last night. Obviously, it wasn't successful, but what was successful was its correctionary move. It was able to hold the 18 average of lows, get above it this morning at 4 or 5 in the morning. And so far, it has pierced above this level of resistance, and it's still well below this previous one. Now you want to see it hold in this area here. This should coincide with the rising 18. Basically around 1578. This previous level of resistance is probably as deep as I'd want to go. But that just keeps a nice little higher high, higher low pattern. And breaking, of course, this level of resistance means that on the daily term, you can start maybe talking about filling some Fibonacci gaps. Speaking of Fibonacci, let's do the calculations. High, 52.29. Divide that by the low. And that comes in at 1119. 1119. The 38.2% level comes in at that of a little over 2000, maybe a couple years ago, we'll call it. 2017 is the 38.2% level. And it's like, man, that's really low. Maybe it's poor logarithmic charting. For here to here is practically double. And from 5,000 to 2,500 is practically double. So that's a bad logarithmic chart. But 38.2% of its move, I'd be looking for maybe a pierce above, maybe up to this previous level here around 22, if it's going to have its move up to that point. As far as the 61.8% level to the upside is concerned, it's in at 2902. Now 1610 was supposed to be the level of the 23 points. Well, it is a 23.6% level. So I just want to take a look on the short term to see how the 1600 low change managed to work from these lows, and well, it was this pierce above area. It lifted off from support there, resisted here, and it's in this general area. So because of this, holding and staying like a pierce below it, like I say, this level area, and forward momentum, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does make a move. Again, to pierce above the 2000 number, again near 22. Let's move on next to Theta Fuel. We'll start within the daily term time frame. Yeah, not much there. No, not really. That's because it's new. It just got listed. So we'll do the hourly for the most very earliest look. We got the 18 average starting. Buyers want this coin. Obviously, they want it. It comes in. The early sellers come in because they got their free money. They take it. Buyers come in again, and we're having the higher highs, higher lows ever since that point. Now, I'm using Binance Coin because what do I do with my T Fuel? And I'm thinking to myself, well, what could I do? I could trade against something else. Like, I'm definitely not going to trade against Theta in a ratio trade because one of the things that's a must, or you try to look for, is that your two coins are not a hand-in-hand coin. It's not like Steam and Steam dollars. This is pretty much the exact sort of situation. If one has a decent uptrend and the other one might as well, they're both going to have highs and lows and runs around the same time. That's what I don't want. And I also look at this, and I literally had 0.25 Binance coin on my balance, and it's just grinding down as I make trades. I got a lot. That's a lot. I mean, that's going to cover a lot of trades. I don't need to even consider soon needing to fund that back up in any way, but at some point I will. So I don't want to pay for it. So what I did is I've had four sell orders hit. The last one's a little over 600. I got too greedy. I really, really got too greedy here. And I did think about going a hair under 700 last night when I was putting my buy orders. Rather not. So be it. I've put in all my buy orders for, and now I had 0.25 Binance coin after putting the five buy orders, trying to get basically. If I sell 1,000, I want to buy 1,000. So obviously, I'm going to profit Binance coin along the way, and just keep swing trading this back and forth. It's because I realize the state of fuel's gonna have up and down moves that are going to be so glorious, and I want to take advantage of them. So that's why I'm going to use this as a primary measure, taking free coins to make free coins, making obviously this here. I got like 0.615 BNB after having a quarter to start this venture. After the buy orders are in, so the profit from those four trades would give me such. Now, in a situation, if this thing is to just really go off, and especially if theta goes off, I could see how this could happen. And it goes way up here to big prices, and whatever. If it's like goes up against Binance Coin, it goes up against Bitcoin, goes against the U.S. dollar, yada yada yada. But what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to be getting sells, and a few buy orders will happen along the way, but it'll be just that, a few. So I'll have a whole bunch of buy orders waiting to go. And right now, I think my lowest is, let me just find that exact number. It's currently 344. So I'm going to have orders all the way up. And it gets up to, say, the 0.0219 number. Now I'm going to have orders at 0.13, 0.07, 0.09. And, okay, well, they'll stay in, but all these orders below here I pretty much have to remove. And maybe I'll use those extra coins as something to do something with. Maybe there's an opportunity to enter into another coin. Maybe I could use it to day trade on the BNB exchange. Because one example is, and even I can pretty much do this almost at any time when I accumulate enough. Say, for example, this goes up like this, and or whatever, and then I see I got a lot of BNB coin, and I would draw, or rather cancel the lower sell orders, the cheaper amounts, the ones at the bottom, and then I'm like, okay, let's just buy this one coin I think is going to break out against BNB, so I buy it, and then I'll either sell it for a profit or sell it for a loss, and either way I'm taking free coins, which is just going to net me either more or less free profit from this entire game. All right then, so that will conclude the video for today. Well, really for the morning. Actually, yeah, did I go into anything more on here? We just go like, that's not what I wanted to do. Bring this back. Yeah, so far as how this is going short run, holding, staying in there. I don't like. I gotta think 717 might be something I should break, and one reason I say no is because it's the BNB exchange. People are gonna care more about this against Bitcoin and the dollar. Yeah, true enough. It's just a matter of ratio. But either way, the dollar and those chains are going to be looking just like this too. So I got to go higher than 717, or I got to go lower. I either got to go about 697 for a matching high, or I just got to go for a decent sized move above 728, 733, just a little bit more, because I think if it's going to go to a move above here, it'll probably extend it even just a little further. That's That's just my way of thinking anyway. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.